Let me get back to Meade. He is ready, I believe, in Richmond, Virginia. Meade, thanks for calling, sir. What's
Hi.
up?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm just calling in because I found some very interesting things. Well, something most notably, I did a paper. I'm back in school, and I did a paper for communications class, and it was on the portrayal of white Southerners in the media.
Nice.
And yes, and its implications. And I went all the way back to H.L. Mencken, who was a critic of the South, and he wrote a paper called The Sahara of Beaux-Arts, where he said that it was a cultural wasteland void of intellectual curiosity. And he wrote the first hit piece, basically, against white Southerners. He was from Baltimore, which at the time was like a border city. It was like but he was a son of German immigrants. But anyway, I was wondering, I'm sure you've heard of a movie. It's a terrible movie. It's called A Time to Kill. It was also a book.
Hmm.
It was a trash
I've,
book written by a hack writer named John Grisham, who was a Southerner but very, very liberal.
ah,
And what really irritated me was the entire premise is based on a lie, because the real story was race reversed. So the story is that a black girl is murdered by these white supremacists in Mississippi. But the real story was it was two white girls that were brutally raped and beaten by a black man who broke into their home. And that was the real story, and he turned it around to fit one of those, narratives that they like to do against white people in the South.
yep.
And if you ever notice, if you watch a movie that has to do with people in the South, white Southerners, the black people are always angelic. Like there's no such thing as a bad black person.
Right.
Like they can't be a criminal. They're just minding their own business, and then someone burns a cross in their yard, and they're always saying, "I didn't." Well, this is why it really irritates me, because it's sort of what it calls misrepresentation in the media that fuels these things, and it fuels this racial divide and people being angry.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if you want to look up the real case. It's Harris versus the state of Mississippi, and it happened in 1984. And that was the real story that movie, A Time to Kill, the book, A Time to Kill, was based on. And they made it like a white against black thing when it was really the opposite. And so these narratives get buried in the mix.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring that up because I was doing my research paper, and I found all these things that I thought, wow, they certainly twisted that. They certainly wanted to paint a certain picture.
Wow.
uh, so the Supreme Court of Mississippi, I believe, I don't know what his sentence was, but
Sentenced to life without parole per this Google AI search, but it looks like there was an appeal in '89,
yes,
and they were trying to say, "Oh, he should have changed the venue," but the judge didn't do it, and he was not abusing his discretion in doing that. They said he claimed that his confession was maybe coerced, typical. Um, no, but officers said it was voluntary. Huh. Interesting. Oh, the court claimed reviewed arguments that the prosecutor used inflammatory language. Give me a break. What a mess. That's what lawyers tend to do, actually. Crazy, huh? Interesting.
yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know about that, and I just wanted to bring that up because it's just one of those things where there's other movies too, like Mississippi Burning and all these other propaganda films that were used, that sort of create a certain narrative, and I think that they're always saying it's as though evil white Southerners did this, and I found a picture. Of course, I'm sure you've seen it with the students in Arkansas being forced at gunpoint and bayonet by the militia, by the National Guard to integrate. And people don't see those pictures. They see the other picture where the white students are yelling at the black kids for going into class.
Right.
But you don't see the other pictures where the white students were rounded up with gunpoint and bayonets and forced to integrate. Our government did that. To me, that is communist. That is evil.
I agree with you, sir.
Yeah,
totally.
And I support states' rights, and I think that. I mean, I'm not like a hardcore segregationist. I realize that. Well, I didn't live back. That was years before I was born, but I feel like blacks were actually doing better under segregation in some ways. But I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying the way it was done was just, that is not America to me. That is just awful. But anyway, I just want to bring that up and just sharing that with you. So thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
Take care.